Next on Worcester News Tonight, the ballot is set. Worcester's Election Commission finalizes the order of candidates' names for the November election. Plus, city officials and the Worcester Fire Department break ground on a new memorial honoring fallen firefighters. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Candidates for the Worcester's November election now know where their name will fall on the ballot. The city's election commission put together the final list in a random drawing Wednesday night. For some, it means nothing, and others are just happy to be on the ballot. Our Cam Jandro spoke to some candidates today and has more.
In a quiet Levi Lincoln chamber, Worcester's election commission revealed the ballot order for the November election.
John Gloria, Watu Sartori, Joseph Antetti.
A random draw determined where candidates' names will be for the at-large councilor, district councilor, school committee, and mayoral races. For incumbents, where they fall on the ballot isn't something they put a lot of stock in.
If they want to vote for Gary Rose, they'll find him in 3 inches of names. I'm not too worried about that.
I've been number one, I've been last on the ballot, and I've been smack dab in the middle. And it has never made a difference.
The same, however, can't be said for Evan Corrigan, who is also running his first at-large campaign.
Well, I mean, any candidate would want to be the first on the ballot. But I was actually really hoping to be the 13th because it was sort of a running theme.
A few of the candidates also seeking their first at-large terms on the council attended Wednesday's lottery. They say they're just excited to be on the ballot.
I don't know that the placement on the ballot is all that important other than like I'm on it. And that's like what really feels good.
Honestly, I was second to last in the preliminary election and they found me. So I'm just excited to be part of the process, to be very honest with you.
I'm very, very grateful that I'm coming to live in Worcester and want to be a part of the city of Worcester to make a contribution.
Now, the Election Commission says it's unprecedented to see this many candidates move on to the November election, 13 for City Council at large and 12 for the school committee. We are now less than 6 weeks away from the November election. In Worcester, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester School Committee candidates met Wednesday night for a forum to discuss their goals if elected in November. This year's race features 5 incumbents and 7 challengers, most of whom are first-time candidates. The forum, hosted by the League of Women Voters and Worcester Education Collaboration, asked candidates questions related to current school committee policies and practices. Moderator Joanne Barry says they want to give Worcester residents the chance to hear where candidates stand on certain issues.
I hope that the voters and the audience members will be able to, by seeing the candidates side by side, be able to make an informed choice about who they think will do the best job.
The election is on Tuesday, November 5th. State leaders announcing tonight the 11th human case of Triple-E and 4th death in Massachusetts from the virus. A Charlton man in his 70s has contracted the virus. He is the 11th case. The state's Department of Public Health says they were also recently notified by a hospital of a death from Triple-E of an Essex County resident. It marks the 4th Triple-E death this year in Massachusetts. DPH says although mosquito populations are declining at this time of year, risk from Triple-E will continue until the first hard frost. A new memorial walkway in the city will pay tribute to fallen firefighters. It's part of a $4.4 million renovation project, also including turf and upgrades to O'Connell Field. The memorial walkway is years in the making. It will go from Grove Street to Park Avenue. The memorial will honor the Worcester 6 who lost their lives in the cold storage warehouse fire almost 20 years ago, as well as the firefighters who have died in the line of duty dating back to the 1800s. Denise Brotherton lost her husband Paul in 1999. She says near fire headquarters on Grove Street is where she always envisioned the memorial would be.
Approximately 60 communities come through and learn from our facility here. What an asset. What a way to say to all of these future firefighters, fire can be your very best friend or it could be your very worst enemy. Respect it. Always respect it.
The memorial and field are expected to be completed by 2021. The Worcester Fire Department welcomes their newest additions to their fleet with a blessing. The trucks are stationed around the city, including at Webster Square, Grove Street, and Franklin Street. They're part of a more than $2.5 million investment to the fire department. Chief Michael Lavoie says with new trucks comes better technology and added safety for firefighters.
We like to bless the fire trucks because every little bit helps. This is a dangerous profession, and we can only hope that, someone's riding with us. We know we have brothers riding with us, but we can use every little bit helps.
In the past 5 years, the city has invested more than $5 million on 8 fire trucks. The White House releasing a declassified transcript of the phone call between President Trump and the president of the Ukraine today. This coming one day after House Democrats decided to move forward with an impeachment inquiry. In the transcript, President Trump urged the Ukrainian president to investigate Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden. President Trump says the transcript shows he didn't put pressure on the Ukraine. He calls the inquiry a witch hunt. Some Democrats say the concern is a president asking a foreign government for help against a political rival. But some are asking, does it warrant impeachment? Our Erin Keating spoke with a local political scientist today. She explains impeachment is a political punishment, not a legal one.
I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi announces an official inquiry into the impeachment of President Donald Trump. The inquiry comes after a whistleblower complaint in regards to President Trump's phone conversations with the Ukraine. The president is accused of threatening to deny American support to the Ukraine government unless they investigated the family of former Vice President Joseph Biden.
If the Congress believes, if the House of Representatives believes that they have evidence of potential wrongdoing, then they can declare an inquiry, which is basically an investigation.
Erica Cornelius-Smith is an assistant professor of political science at Nichols College. She says the impeachment process begins with an investigation through a vote in the House of Representatives. If a simple majority votes to approve the articles of impeachment, the investigation becomes a trial in the Senate.
Those articles of impeachment are recommended to the Senate, and the Senate holds a trial, and they decide whether or not they're going to convict the president on the charges brought by the House. The threshold in the Senate is higher. You need 2/3 majority in the Senate to actually convict a president for impeachment.
Former Presidents Bill Clinton and Andrew Johnson were both acquitted in impeachment proceedings and completed their terms in office. President Richard Nixon resigned before his trial began. Cornelius-Smith says support for President Trump's inquiry is coming from House Democrats. The Nichols College professor says the support in the Senate is a different story.
In the Senate, we don't have a Democratic majority, we actually have a Republican majority. And so it would be very difficult in the Senate to convict the president unless you had strong Republican support.
Cornelius-Smith says the president could be tried for high crimes and misdemeanors, but the trial will be seen as a political penalty rather than a crime.
This is really more of a political penalty. So if they can justify articles of impeachment by saying something he did violates the Constitution, those high crimes and misdemeanors or treason or bribery, then that's sufficient for Congress to go ahead and recommend that Senate have a trial.
Erin Keating, Worcester News Tonight.
Educating children on the importance of mental health. It's the goal of a new statewide campaign. The state's Department of Public Health created the graphic novel and short film Issac Story. The campaign focuses on the power of friendship, the pain of stigma, and encouraging young kids to find their strength. The campaign is formulated for students between 2nd and 5th grade.
The purpose of this book is to really give young people the opportunity to get the language to talk about mental health. We consider this an anti-stigma campaign. We want to make sure that families and young people know that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Miss Teen Universe Massachusetts Mia De La Rocha read the book to children Wednesday. You can access the book and film by visiting issacs-story.com. The Worcester Red Sox announced another partnership with a local school. The team announced Worcester Academy as their official independent school partner. Students were surprised with the announcement this morning at a pep rally. PawSox President Dr. Charles Steinberg says the partnership will provide students with internships and potentially job opportunities with the team.
We know that Worcester has told us how excited the city is about Polar Park, but you could feel it with these students. And we don't want them to observe it. We want them to participate. We want them to be a part of it.
Having partners like the Worcester Red Sox allows us to do things that we're not able to do so easily elsewhere. They're willing to open their doors to us every day of the year to welcome students who are studying all different subject matters and make it part of their regular educational experience at the school.
Worcester Academy's baseball team will also be able to play at Polar Park when it opens in 2021.